Good morning, everybody. How are you today? We are going to do a little circle time this morning and then get into explaining our project and read a little story. Today we're learning about tide pools, and that kind of goes with our ocean theme that we talked about the other day, because tide pools work with the ocean when the tides come up and down and some water gets stuck in a certain spot. So let's start with our circle time. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad you're here. So let's go over a few things. Does anybody know what the month is? April. Today is April, and today it is the last day of April. And then we're going to be going into the month of May. That's next month. Right now we're in April. Today is the last day of April, and then tomorrow it will be May. So today is April 30th. And in May, we celebrate Mother's Day. So everybody should remember that.
Mother's Day?
Does anybody know the day of the week it is?
30th.
Thursday. Today is Thursday. We have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then there's Saturday. Days of the week. So today is Thursday. You want to see that? All right. And we are still in the month of spring. And that's why it's been raining a lot, because in spring, after winter, all of the plants and animals need water outside to grow and bloom. So the flowers need the water to make their beautiful flowers, and the trees need water to make their leaves big and green. So we're still in spring, but everybody is anxiously awaiting summer, so we can all go to the beach and have the big bright sunshine every single day. And if anybody looks out the window and point what you see outside today. I see raining today. So, today for our project, we are going to be making crabs like this. So all you need is a paper plate, and then cut out the crab arms and the antennas and the legs, and I stapled them on the back there just so you can see. And then I'm gonna have the boys take some paint and color this red, and then color in 2 eyeballs, and then we can hang this up. And that'll be a fun project today, because today we are learning about tide pools. And I'm gonna be reading this book, In One Tide Pool. Do that here. Here is a coastline with pounding waves, sea-splashed rocks and hidden caves, with seagulls gliding out of reach and clumps of kelp tossed on the beach. This is where a tide pool lay, crowded with critters on a summer day. This is a tide pool. So many of you have probably seen this when you go to the beach and the tide comes up really high on the sand. It comes all the way up high, and then the water goes back out, and some water gets stuck up on the beach and the rocks, and all these cool little animals make homes in there because they feel safe. A curly-haired girl with wandering eyes found crabs and fish and 5-armed surprise. She carefully watched the things she found, dozens of animals all around. A questioning child, she truly cared for the tide pool home these creatures shared. That's beautiful. Can't wait to do that this summer.
Yeah.
Barnacles with legs so small that waved at the girl who watched them all. In one tide pool, fun to explore, a web of life on a rugged shore. Okay. These are the fish that dart and hide and find their food with the surging tide. Near barnacles with legs so small that waved at the little girl who watched them all. In one tide pool, fun to explore, a web of life on a rugged shore. Look at that silly fish, Shane. Look. Anemones with stinging cells hold fast to rocks and empty shells. Friends to fish that dart and hide and find their food in the surging tide. Near barnacles with legs so small, you can see, that waved at the girl who watched them all. In one tide pool, fun to explore, a web of life on a rugged shore. This is an anemone. This thing with the big pink tentacles coming off. It's kind of like a plant, but it's a living animal.
Mama, I don't want to.
Okay, so just put them over here and then just relax. A blood red sponge clings to the ledge, a curious creature from edge to edge. Close to anemones with stinging cells, neighbors to fish that dart and hide. And find their food in the surging tide. Near barnacles with legs so small that waved at the girl who watched them all. In one tide pool, fun to explore, a web of life on a rugged shore. A group of snails with spiral hats glide across the bumps and flats. Besides the sponge upon the ledge, a curious creature from edge to edge. Close to anemones with stinging cells, the ones who grip the rocks and shells. Neighbors to fish that dart and hide their food in the surging tide. Near barnacles with legs so small, they waved at the girl who watched them all. In one tide pool, fun to explore, a web of life on a rugged shore. Thieving crabs dragged borrowed rooms, shuffling across the seaweed blooms, past the snails with spiral hats, who glide across the bumps and flats. Beside the sponge upon the ledge, a curious creature from edge to edge. The ones who grip the rocks and shells, neighbors to fish that dart and hide. Near barnacles with legs so small that waved at the girl who watched them all. In one tide pool, fun to explore, a web of life on a rigid shore. So that's cool because in one little tide pool, this little girl saw a lot of things. She saw starfish, she saw anemones, she saw barnacles. Now these are all things that like to hang out together in safe little areas that they're not gonna get washed away or eaten by other animals. So they think it's kind of a safe area to hang out and live. Okay, you can go into the living room. So I have a little starfish here. It's dried out and it's not alive anymore, but this is what it looks like. And that's kind of cool. And these hang out in tide pools because they get washed up in there and then they find a good little spot and there's a lot of little debris floating around that they can, because this is how they eat in the back here. They suck things in and this is how they crawl around on the ocean floor. That's really cool. And so maybe when it's not raining out, you can take a ride down to the bay or to the ocean and see if you can find a little pocket of water and see if you see any tadpoles in there or any seaweed or any barnacles, because barnacles are alive too. When you pick up a rock or a shell and you see the barnacles that live on there, those are alive and that's where they found their spot to live. That's their home. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a good day and enjoy the rain. And I hope to speak with you soon. Bye.